Which receivers will produce the most for the new look Seattle Seahawks offense? What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Happy Saturday. We made it to the weekend, and we are moving along with the prediction series. So we did the passers or quarterbacks or whatever. We did the runners. So I think you guys know what's coming today. It's the receivers. And this is all the receivers. This is all the pass catching. This is the wide receivers. This is the tight ends. This is the running backs. Anybody who might catch a pass for the Seahawks in 2025. And it's an interesting group, right? It's an interesting crew. It's an interesting selection because it's by and large new. You've got DK Metcalf gone. You've got Tyler Lockett gone. You bring in Cooper Kupp. You bring in Marquez Valdez-Scantling. You draft Elijah Arroyo. You draft Torrey Horton. You draft Ricky White III. It's different. So this is going to be very interesting. And whether or not the Seahawks are on the right path or not, whether or not they have the right people in charge, a big part of that determination is going to be what we get out of this group, because this is where there was a lot of upheaval. And while I don't think that there's much contesting of the fact that we needed to move off of Tyler Lockett for multiple reasons, this team didn't necessarily have to trade DK Metcalf, and they certainly didn't need to do it for a pretty bad second round pick. So that move is going to be put under the microscope if we don't get enough production out of these guys. And I know Noah Fant's currently on the team. I'm going to guess that by the start of the season he's not, so he's not going to be listed here. So that puts a guy like Elijah Arroyo in the microscope, under the microscope rather, because we're going to be leaning on him pretty heavily, at least as much as a tight end in a Clint Kubiak offense can be leaned on, which I think we've learned in the past can actually be a pretty good amount. So yeah, this one's impactful. This one's important. And we're going to go through some stat line projections. You guys know the drill by now. Again, I want to stress that these are just box score numbers. They don't tell you everything. So some of these players, there's going to be other stuff going on that tells us whether or not the player is actually good or how good they are. But it's a good baseline. All right, please like this video if you haven't already. Click the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell for notifications. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to support the channel. Okay, so leading the way for the 2025 Seahawks in the pass catcher category is, of course, JSN. I have a hard time imagining it being anybody else. Now, this one's hard, right? Because JSN is a slot receiver, first, second, and third. His abilities take a hit when he lines up outside. He is meant to play in the slot, and we have an offensive coordinator that, I mean, you don't have to have three receivers on the field for one of them to be in the slot, but we have an offensive coordinator that does like to go two tight ends a lot. He goes to running backs more often than most teams or most coaches, so there's not going to be the same opportunities for JSN. Under Grubb, and Grubb did a lot of things wrong, but one thing that he did right was he put the three receivers on the field a lot and allowed JSN to mostly live in the slot. So I do think that we're going to be looking at a slight downtick in JSN's production for 2025. I don't think it'll be huge, though. Not at all. I ended up going with 91 catches for 1,094 yards, and that's a 12-yard per reception average, 8 touchdowns. It's close to what he did last year. It's not quite as good. A couple more touchdowns, but the catches and yards go down a little bit. Again, I just think there are going to be fewer opportunities, and I think there will be fewer opportunities for him to be put in his best light because of the reduction of snaps in the slot. Even though you can have a slot receiver without three receivers on the field, you're still you're still going to see reduced opportunities compared to last year with Grubb. Okay, next up we have Cooper Kupp. I think we all know that Cooper Kupp is not going to play the whole season, but I think that when he does play, he will get the job done. I have reservations about this, of course. I think this is something that has a wide variance. There is every reason to believe that Cooper Kupp is better than what we had last year with someone like a Tyler Lockett. But if you look at him as the guy we're asking to replace DK Metcalf, I think that's a little bit dicier. So it's tough. This one's hard. I ended up landing on 61 catches for 798 yards. That's about 13.1 yards per catch and 4 touchdowns. So it's a good, respectable season. I'm assuming he misses some time, and we'll be willing to live with this. I think this team can win if their top 2 receivers are producing at this level. That's 1,900 yards. That's 150 catches. That's 12 touchdowns. That's actually pretty good for a team that is probably going to be tight end heavy and back heavy and et cetera, et cetera. I am concerned. I do think that there is a pretty low floor here with Kupp. There are a lot of people out there who would argue that he's not really that good even when he's on the field now, and that outside of McVay's offense, you're really going to notice it. But I'm willing to assume that he can at least put together 800 yards. I mean, think about it like this. 800 yards in a 17-game season, that's not even 50 yards a game. A couple of big games, and he's a good chunk of the way there. So even if he misses time, this is not unreasonable. All right, next guy I have is Zach Charbonnet. I think that Charbonnet is going to serve in large part as the third down back and the receiving back because he's not a great fit for Kubiak's running scheme. And I think that Charbonnet is going to do that well. I think that is playing to his strengths. And I think he can make positive contributions as a receiving back and also a blocking back in this offense. So that's a good amount of catches, 376 yards, pretty good. 8.7 yards per catch, pretty good. I don't think that he's going to be some elite receiving back. I don't think he's going to be running a lot of routes out of the backfield. I don't think he's going to be going into motion a lot, but I think he'll get the job done. And I went with 1 touchdown, just 1 receiving touchdown. He picks it up at some point in the season. Who knows? So that's good. Okay. We got our third down back here. We got the guy who's going to be catching passes out of the backfield. And then next up, little bit of a surprise, maybe. I don't know. I went with AJ Barner, 35 catches, 344 yards. That's 9.8 yards per catch and 3 touchdowns. And I know some people would be a little bit surprised for me to have Barner listed as the top receiving tight end because he is presumably going to be the blocking tight end in this offense, but I have some concerns about Arroyo this season in particular. I have some concerns overall, honestly, but I feel like Barner is going to play more than him. I think Barner is going to be leaned on more heavily in crucial situations because he does have that NFL experience. And I think he'll end up building on his nice little rookie year last year. So I ended up going with Barner being the top receiving tight end. And I think Arroyo is going to not put up the numbers that some people might be expecting from him. In the case of Arroyo, I went with 26 catches for 297 yards. A little bit more of a downfield threat, 11.4 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. I'm not an Arroyo fan. I don't think he's very good. I don't really understand the infatuation some people had with him in the first place. And you're also looking at it beyond that. He basically wasn't playing football because of injuries until last year in college. So, like, how is he really going to go out there and put up big numbers in the NFL after his first year of really doing stuff in the college ranks? I don't think so. So I'm a little bearish on Arroyo. I don't think there's going to be a lot going on this year with him. He'll be okay. Hopefully he turns into something better down the line, but I just don't. I'm not feeling it. I think he's okay, but I feel like you can get players of Arroyo's caliber in the fifth round, and I think he'll end up producing kind of like how AJ Barner produced last year as a rookie, just not as good of a blocker. Okay, next up we have Valdez Scantling, and we know what he's here to do. He's here to be a deep threat, so not a lot of catches for him. 25 catches is all I went with, but 429 yards, which is 17.2 yards per catch, and 4 touchdowns. Not anything stellar, but he's going to provide that play action threat where you hit the play action, Sam Darnold turns around, MVS is streaking down the field, using his downfield speed to take the top off the defense. He'll make his plays. He's just not going to produce a lot of catches throughout the season, I don't think, because I don't think we'll use him like that. Okay, next we have our main running back, Ken Walker. I don't think he'll be used as a receiver as much, even though he's relatively good at it. I think that's going to be pulled back in favor of getting him the ball on the ground, because we are going to be trying to run the ball more this year, of course. But just beyond that, I feel like it's better that we compartmentalize a little bit in the backfield. And we know that if somebody gets hurt, like if Charbonnet were to get hurt, we know Walker can also do the pass catching stuff. He's good at it. It's not like he's bad at it. But 22 catches, 265 yards. With his speed, he'll bust one or two big ones that take the average way up. 12.1 yards per catch. And I went with 1 touchdown. So decent enough season, but it's not going to be the main part of his game. Torrey Horton, with him, 20 catches. I'm a little bit concerned because the injury seems like it's cutting into his offseason work, which I don't like. So I'm hoping that he's able to ramp up quickly when training camp gets here and that he's healthy by the time training camp gets here, but he's missed some stuff already. He hasn't missed everything, but he's missed some stuff. It doesn't seem like he's all the way there, and it's going to be hard for him to contribute in the offense if he's not all the way there. These rookies need that time badly, but I will say this, AJ Barner missed some of the offseason last year, and he ended up playing better than I think anybody expected. So Torrey Horton, 12 yards per catch, 1 touchdown. I think it'll be a non-trivial contribution, but we're not going to go crazy here. Tight end 3, we got Eric Saubert, the guy we picked up from the Niners, although he's played on a bunch of other teams. 10 catches, 93 yards, 9.3 yards per catch. No touchdowns. We're getting down into the guys that are just kind of cameoing in the receiving offense, right? None of these guys are going to do a ton of stuff as a receiver, I don't think. Like Jake Bobo, some people might not be agreeing with this. I think Bobo is going to be on the way out in this offense that doesn't use receivers that much. I think that he'll be used a decent amount for run blocking purposes, but he's going to have to prove himself in that area because I don't think he was a very good blocker last year, honestly. So even in that regard, he's going to have to pick it up. And as a receiver, I think he disappointed last year. I don't think he produced the way people were expecting, and I think he showed that the limitations in his game do pose a big problem. So I went with 8 catches for 78 yards, and that seems low, and it is, but I'm just a little over the Jake Bobo thing at this point, personally. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't make the team. So if he does make the team, I don't think he's going to do a lot as a receiver unless somebody gets injured. Ricky White, 7 catches. Can't imagine him having a big role, but he does have that downfield threat stuff down pat. So I'll say they're big plays. 7 catches, 119 yards. Maybe he's somebody who catches like a wide receiver, like the Philly special that we run with Milrow. Maybe he's the recipient on a play like that. So 7 catches as a 7th round rookie. I would live with that. Then we got our 2 backup running backs here. Damian Martinez, 3 catches, 19 yards, so 6.3 yards per catch, no touchdowns. And taking us home, we got Kenny McIntosh, 2 catches, 15 yards. Again, I know that Kenny McIntosh, this is kind of his thing. I just get the sense that he's getting a little left behind in this offense. I'm a little bit, I don't know, it just feels to me like Damian Martinez is stealing his thunder. That's the vibe I'm getting. Maybe I'm wrong. I could easily be wrong on that one because it's so tough to read. And yeah, that's it. So we have the catches and yards matching up. If you go back to the quarterback page, I have 353 completions, 4,167 yards. Same thing I have here. I have 25 touchdowns, 25 touchdowns. So we're synced up. And I this is the way I see things going. And I didn't do anything too wild here. Maybe the AJ Barner Elijah Arroyo split is a little bit questionable, maybe. But I feel like Barner overachieved significantly as a receiver last year. And I think that is going to play a role here. I think that his experience and the fact that he's already proven to be a capable pass catching tight end, combined with me having some real questions about Arroyo, is going to end up surprising some people here. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. I will see you guys later today on Twitch or tomorrow. More videos coming. But that's how I think the receiving room will break down for the 2025 season. Again, I'm assuming a little bit in terms of like injuries. I think Kupp will miss a little bit of time. Other than that, maybe Arroyo misses some time because he's battled injuries his whole career. Of course, Walker's going to miss some time. I think any featured running back in this league should be assumed to miss some time. And that's really about it in terms of my initial assumptions. All right. Go Hawks. Have a good day. More predictions coming soon. More videos coming soon. Let me know what you think.